You know, an express SGR from Nairobi to Mombasa or to and fro takes 6 hours, all right? Those who've used SGR. Driving from here to Narok is 2 hours. To Nakuru is 2.5 hours, depending on the traffic flow. From here to my hometown, Oyugi, takes 6 hours. And Regina spent 6 hours where she's supposed to take 15 minutes.
I know.
15 minutes.
I think that was me.
15 minutes drive from here, that's like from here to, okay, Harithuk Road. That's like going to CBD or something.
Yeah, because yesterday I spent literally between 4:30 and 9:50. Actually, yes, 9:15.
That's an SGR almost stopping at Miritini.
And now let me tell you the crazy thing about, leave alone getting out of the CBD.
Yes.
You know, out of the CBD it was fine. Langati Road was moving, no problem, all through Raila Odinga, what we already know is Mbagathi Way and such. That was fine. Now get onto Magadi Road. And the showers, the skies opened. With the showers came chaos. So people started overtaking, overlapping, such that there was a buildup of traffic that those moving from Kiserian, Ngong, coming to the
And
city.
then now you form like 4 lanes.
Now there were 4 lanes headed in one direction.
Wow.
Okay.
No cops in sight. A stretch that takes me 15 minutes,
15 minutes
took me
you
4 hours, 3 hours.
No, that was 6.
6 hours.
6 hours.
I actually started thinking about my life's decision.
Do you know a flight
I wish
from
you
Nairobi?
were saying yesterday, actually.
I was like, you know what? I need to redo a few things.
But do you know, actually, that is why that particular road is on that process of expansion, because of the stretch in which it is, when anytime there's actually rain.
Exactly.
And obviously we know the synonymity between rain and traffic. It just has to be slow. And then again, look at how the road is looking like. So this is also why they're expanding it. That's why I began before we did the traffic. And I was telling Regina, if you're thinking about your decision, maybe you need to just rethink first, because I mean, in the next 4 years,
things will be different.
and again, rain won't be stopping. That stretch or that entire road is actually supposed to take 4 years of construction, because they want to expand, come up with the overpass and underpass to ease traffic flow. So that if that's what you're seeing today, it's like those people that live like me in Mombasa Road. Like yesterday, I stuck in traffic just between the stretch of GM to Nyayo in early morning from 5:15 a.m. 25 minutes. Why? Because they were putting up that beam.
So I'm imagining if they're going to start doing the expansion on Magadi Road and they have not given us an alternative route, that's not a thing I want to endure for the next 4 years.
4 years.
Yesterday, I also learned a term, though not very palatable in a full sentence. Like, you see, when the chaos began, there were people on the left and on the right. So if you're on the road, there's someone who wants tunasemanga kwa Kiswahili anataka kukuingia hapo mbele. Then there's another one on this other side, ako kwa kiwanja ya KWS. You see the national park? So they're all wanting to converge in front of you. So one matatu guy tried to pull that. And because if you've been living in those sides, you learn to be a little bit rough, you know? So when he tried, nikasonga mbele. So he had to apply the brakes. So
do you know the amount?
He rolled down the window and said, Madam, shikanisha bus. Then the rest watch and edit.
He said, no.
Nilimwambia boss sawa, but hapo winingi. Sawa, wengi hapo nyuma. Because I was tired. And I don't know what happens with the rains. When it starts raining, motorists, pedestrians, we all lose our sanity. Yeah.
Our brains go and leave.
I don't know why.
So, I don't know, it's a natural reaction.
That's in Nairobi. You know, a flight from Nairobi to Dubai takes 5 hours. So
please don't make me feel bad more than I am right now.
You've been in Dubai.
Nani meambia Regina na bado.
Yeah,
the level of patience. Let me tell you, being stuck in traffic can teach you patience.
Yes.
Especially if you have no option or alternative, you learn patience by force.
Somebody said that if you can live in Nairobi for 5 years without any problem, you've gone through all these hardships, you can live anywhere in the world.
I believe so.
Anywhere in the world.
The best training ground.
Haujafungiwa nyumba, haujapigwa geta, kanjo hajakubeba juju, traffic ndio imekupatia lessons, you can survive anywhere.
That
You're a
reminds me what
survivor.
is happening on social media, Victor, and
Yes.
it has also found itself on one of the main stories that we had.
Yeah.
The issue of power outages, electricity. I saw yesterday on Twitter, to be specific, that immediately it started raining, guys went on switch off KPLC because what was wameenda kuanua wameenda kuanua stima. I don't know. Kenya Power needs to come out and really explain the correlation between rain and blackouts. To you, Victor.
Yeah, all right. Okay, I will tell you what the Kenya ladies are doing in terms of, in the AFCON, by the way, the Kenya, the female hockey team, what they're doing in the African Cup of Nations. I will give you more details briefly. But on the front page of the Star here, Gachagua best for DP, Kenneth top for Raila. Madira MP was preferred by 24.9% of respondents and Peter Kenneth by 27.3%. Now, the poll of 3,152 respondents was conducted between January 5th and 15th there. There is just a whole illustration and the figures in terms of percentage on who is taking the lead. And of course, they say that Peter Kenneth is best to deputize Raila Odinga at 27.3% and Rigathi Gachagua at 24.9%. Now, Martha Karua comes at 16.4%. That is to deputize Deputy President William Ruto, Musalia Mudavadi at 10.3%, Kalonzo Musyoka 7.2%, Peter Kenneth 6.5%, Alfred Mutua 4.5%. And lastly, on the side of Raila Odinga, Kalonzo Musyoka has 13.2%, followed by Musalia Mudavadi 12.1%, Martha Karua 10.6%, Hassan Joho 4.9%, and lastly Gideon Moi 4.3%. You can take a look at that, and it's also given more details on page 4 and 5. And on to the second page here, don't be cowed to quash BBI annulment, judges told. Harvey says that the president of Kenya is not a pharaoh, but a servant of the people. The Attorney General, through Solicitor General, that is Ken Ogeto, had on Tuesday argued that the court not to quash the verdict and revive the BBI reggae. The state argued that the appellate judges had answered the important questions the wrong way and that they had the wrong, often ambiguous and in some cases contradictory justifications. Today being the third day and the last, of course, for that hearing taking place at the Supreme Court. The judges now will retire to write their ruling. Of course, there's that story of Jimmy Wanjigi, who was also freed there without, where after the court directed the businessman to be released from police custody following the dramatic arrest on Tuesday. And yes, now he's a free man. Something to talk about. Regina, you did the animal census, the wildlife census sometimes last year. I beg your pardon. Excuse me. Now we have got Jumbo, which has delivered two, do we call them calves or babies?
Calves.
Calves, right?
Yeah, calves.
So there's twin calves in rare birth in Samburu. So according to the conservationist here, they say that it's a rare occurrence, and you can imagine a jumbo giving birth to two calves. So it's from the statistics you had last year, we have got two now, right? We have two.
You're talking about the animal census. This particular version of these two cows, Samburu, has been termed as a ninth wonder, so to speak.
Yes.
Because an elephant cow carries, the gestation period is around 18 months. So
That's almost 2 years.
Yes. You can imagine, twins. This is a very, very rare occurrence, especially within Samburu.
Yeah.
And it comes at a time, you know, when conservationists have come out, we say, you know, it's the high time we eased on human-wildlife conflict. Even yesterday, when the tourism industry was releasing its performance index, some of the issues that were raised was, you know, the plans that are already underway to have the implementation of the human-wildlife insurance compensation. Now, this will go a long way in also just in increasing tolerance between especially where humans are concerned. You see, humans, we take up arms against these wild animals, and unfortunately, with the rapid urbanization, we are encroaching on, you know, their animal pathways as well as their budding and nesting areas. So this is a rare occurrence, and I'm sure Magical Kenya, rather the Kenya Tourism Board, is likely to latch onto this to also market Kenya as an ideal tourist destination to just come see where, you know, we give birth in double when it comes to, you know, elephants and such.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. All right, so in some politics, Gachagua, best for DP Ruto, Kenneth, top for Raila. Gachagua was preferred, of course. I've given more details there. Majority have confidence on IBC, according to a new survey there. And lastly, Azimio partners to field candidates in strongholds to end nomination fiasco. We have got direct nominations, we have got handpicking, and of course we have got what we call universal suffrage. So the yet-to-be-registered Azimio coalition party will zone the country based on party's political strengths. This was revealed yesterday while former Prime Minister Raila Odinga said that they will adopt a hybrid method to identify candidates for his Azimio la Umoja political machine. The ODM boss also disclosed that the yet-to-be-registered Azimio la Umoja party will zone the country based on party's political strengths. So, is it going to be a good thing or a bad thing? Politically speaking, yes. So I told you that Sierra Leone coach, before I get to that, yes. The Kenya female hockey team, and by the way, I played hockey in high school. Number 5 and goalkeeper. Kenya beat Zambia 3-0 to rekindle AFCON title hopes. Kenya women's hockey team dismantled Zambia 3-0 to revive their hopes of sailing to the semi-finals of the African Cup of Nations in Accra, Ghana. Goals from Aurelia Opondo, Flavia Mutiva, and Grace Bwire at the Theodosia Hockey Stadium spearheaded Jacqueline Mwangi's side to a first victory in 2 matches. Makofi to the ladies. Yeah. Makofi to the ladies.
Over here, still on AFCON, congratulating ladies. What a man can do, a woman can do better. Well, the Rwandan referee makes history as the first woman to officiate at the center of the tournament. We get this on page 51, in case you need details on that. So congratulations to the ladies. Matters politics, we have the Oka factor in Raila Ruto runoff. Well, the presidential runoff is likely this year should One Kenya Alliance field a candidate or have its principals run for State House separately. Also, DP Ruto and Mr. Odinga, who are seen to be the leading presidential aspirants, a few factors such as how Mount Kenya vote goes will determine whether either wins in the first round, and it is predicted that there will be a second runoff should there be low voter turnout in Mount Kenya, and DP is under pressure to replicate Jubilee's performance in the past 2 elections, where victory was secured courtesy of overwhelming voter turnout in Mount Kenya, which was as much as 94% in some counties. So Mount Kenya is quite the determining factor for these 2 parties on how things will pan out. To some other news, the union that is KUPPET wants a 70% pay rise for teachers, and it has threatened to call a strike and disrupt national examinations in March if its members do not get a pay increase of at least 30%. And the Secretary General said teachers want the 2021-2025 non-monetary collective bargaining agreement revised to give them a 30 to 70% salary increase. To some human interest story, a man was awarded, or rather, let's take this one. How safe is your child? House helps pleads guilty to sexually abusing child aged 4 and making video. Well, this is quite a sad story over here. So this house help made a video and sent it to a couple working with the rogue house helps, and cashes in on video clips of children being sexually abused, and the crackdown follows the arrest of a domestic worker, this particular lady, who filmed herself having sex with a 4-year-old boy. She then sold the clip to the syndicate. The forensic, later on, this lady sent the video to the parents, and it is being said that she was asking for some money out of it. The forensic analysis show that, yes, she sent the video asking the parents for a undisclosed amount of money. So she actually pleaded guilty to this crime. So this is sad. Parents should be on the lookout. Even if you have a boy child, the boy child, we have neglected them. So in case you have a child, a young child, and you have left them in the hands of a house help, just make sure to check with them from time to time to make sure that everything is okay. We'll get to more stories in just a bit. Doreen, to you.
All right, so the next school calendar, that is the 2022 school calendar, is set to begin on the last week of April, around April 25th there, and that is why the Teachers Service Commission is set to recruit around 3,000 tutors ahead of that next term. According to this particular report, there are 2,053 vacancies in primary, while secondary learning institutions require an additional of 892 teachers. And the report also further on goes to say the counties whereby most of these tutors will be deployed. This include Kiambu, as well as Kakamega County, even as they'll be going ahead to recruit all these 3,000 tutors ahead of the next school term. Even let's talk about the roads and what has been happening when it comes to traffic and thereabout. Again, there's also another report that has been released whereby road accident deaths have now shot up by 32%, and they have given key reasons of this kind of shoot up. Just according to the National Traffic Commander, that is Mary Omari, she revealed that the deaths rose from 201 to 265 as of yesterday. That is actually in this month of January. So beginning 1st of January up until yesterday, that is the statistics. And it shows that pedestrians account for the majority of this number of death cases. Now, when you look at how the state has really been trying to reconstruct most of these roads, and actually any road that has been earmarked for construction, expansion, reconstruction altogether, they're trying to ensure that they put up the non-motorized transport system, which is inclusive of pedestrian walkways as well as cyclist lanes. And the idea is very simple, to try and reduce most of these death cases which are allied to pedestrian, because that only means that when you have designated lanes, then it becomes easier to know which lane is actually for vehicles, which one is for pedestrians, and which one is for cyclists. So that is what that particular report shows. And also to some bit of politics is that Mount Kenya youth bless Kenneth to deputize Raila, and they've actually given reasons as to why they think Peter Kenneth is the best candidate to deputize the former premier. This is perhaps when he wins the 2022 general election. And part of the reasons they've given is that Peter Kenneth has good management skills. Kenneth led the Football Kenya Federation when he was only 28 years old, and when he became MP, his then constituency development funds led nationally. In addition to that, Kenneth is also getting backing from various personnel key in government, and this is why they think it is necessary, or it will be good for him to deputize the former Prime Minister. That is during this particular general election, if he wins, like I mentioned. And again, we're also keenly following on what has been happening in Lamu. This is after the recent ongoing attacks in that particular county. As of Monday, it was established that given the fact that police had been deployed in various areas in that particular county, schools had now been set to reopen. This is particular to those schools that had been closed because of those ongoing attacks. But much as the schools were reopened and students could go back to school. That is still not happening in that county. And going by this particular article is that there's still a lot of tension in that area. And so parents have resorted to just transfer their students all together to different areas and different counties where they can continue getting their education, as opposed to them learning in that area that is in Lamu County, just because of those recent ongoing attacks. And also, again, as of yesterday, we also established that the same attacks that have been happening in Lamu over the past 2 weeks is exactly what is also happening in Baringo County. And again, police are still launching an investigation to establish the cause of those attacks. And also, clergy is warning on the misuse of youth, and obviously this is just allied to these elections, whereby they do not want the youths to be misused. I mean, we've seen quite a lot of that happening in recent times. Just what we saw the other weekend during the rally where the DP had in Embakasi, during that particular area in Jacaranda grounds, where there was a lot of commotion here and there. So this is why the clergy is urging the youth not to be misused during this election times. And also in Mombasa County, students quit school due to birth papers. This is birth certificates. These are students either finishing primary or finishing high school who cannot continue with their education, and so they resort to quitting because of some of those papers. And lastly, police probe the mystery of 19 bodies dumped in River Yala. This is actually a story that has been making headlines since Tuesday, and so now police are launching a probe into that into that particular case. And also, one of the things that came out is that this is actually from the IG, that is Hilary Mutyambai, and he mentioned that only 19 bodies have been recovered from the river over the last 2 years. This is contrary to what the media has been reporting, as he said that over 20 bodies had been retrieved in the recent past. So that is what he is saying there. And also, he is urging the public to see how best they can help the police, even as they continue launching these investigations. Regina.
Now, I have a copy of the Standard, and the front page is seems repetitive of what we have on the other dailies. You know, the freeing of Jimmy Wanjigi pending a hearing court by the High Court. Also, the issues of more bodies found in Yala and more pain for families, and also that particular, you know, snarl-up that is along the borders owing to, you know, the Kisumu, Busia, and along Malaba and Uganda there over COVID tests. This issue has not been resolved. This follows a directive dated January 6th that indicates that, you know, truck drivers driving into Uganda have to have COVID certificates. So there's a snarl-up happening there, and this has found itself on the front page of the Standard this morning, and also matters of higher pay from Kupet, as well as matters of voter registration that is ongoing. And this is very important at a time, you know, when we're focusing on the general elections come August, where now the Constitution provides that, you know, one must garner at least 50% plus one votes in the first round of victory in the presidential race. So you know why it is very important, especially for the headrunners of the presidential race there. And we already have two who have come out to declare, and it seems that it's going to be a two-horse race, but it is not done yet. Remember, a day in politics is quite a long time. So William Ruto and ODM leader Raila Odinga have begun a spirited drive to ensure that the 4.5 million new voters target by IEBC actually happens. As we come to a close, I want to draw your attention to that issue of, you know, bodies being found in River Yala. It has took the country by storm. Now, according to Nicholas Otike Okoro, who is from Ginga, I don't know how to pronounce that, but Yala, Siaya County, has been doing this, has been retrieving bodies from that particular river for the last 26 years. And this is an apprenticeship that he took on after his dad retired. The dad is currently aged 71 years old, and he says Kenyans have been asking, how does he know? How does this diver get to know that where the bodies are at? So he says, just like my father, a spirit communicates to me in my sleep. So I usually when I wake up in the morning, and I have an assignment to retrieve a body that has been in the water for a long time, I dive to that exact location. As you ponder on that, you know, Kenyans have been asking, how does he know exactly where to dive? Well, he's explained there. You can read the excerpt in this particular daily. And just to remind you that we're going to be broadcasting live day 3 of the BBI appeal from the Supreme Court. As we put in the headlines into a cap, or rather bring it to a close, I want you to remember that you can reinvent yourself whenever you want. Life doesn't exactly begin at 40, 30, 60, or 50. The power is in your hands. I'm Regina Manyara. You're watching KBC Channel 1. Thursday is a new Friday, so do keep it right here.